getting clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fooled us. Deep down I probably knew this. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one's perfect. Platinum seems so shallow, 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 shallow. But you are bright white gold. They made us lose our focus. The very same hands that formed us. Go build a better tomorrow. For you I'd make it a rainbow. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one's perfect. Platinum seems so shallow, 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 shallow. But you are bright white gold. With you by my side, I'm not worried. I think we'll be able to find ourselves again. Blank expressions, empty words. Nothing can keep me away from you. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one told us. Platinum seems so shallow, 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 shallow. But you are bright white gold.
All right. It is, what the hell day is it? It's Wednesday, right, John? Give me is it Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, cool. What would I do without John? That was pretty awful. Yeah, we're going to bring John on because we literally have 60 minutes to get all of our tech in, say our highs, and then we had to blow, and we'll explain why that is. It's just think of it as like, oh, I got a little something going on here. Little MacGyver thing going on here where we got to just punch out at 60 minutes. But so we're going to bring John on. We're going to talk, say hello to everybody. Try to pull the wick out of the dynamite, see what's going on. John, you ready? You got your pants are all up and ready to go? Okay.
I am ready.
How you doing, brother? What's going on, man?
How you doing? How's everybody doing?
I don't know. How's everybody going? I see everybody in here tonight. Actually, I don't know who's going to be here at lunchtime. Is it lunchtime or dinner time? Whatever it is.
I know.
This is.
I was like, for some reason I felt like we were on at 7 and out of 8, and I was like, wait, it's 7. I had to like rush back and do everything. I was like, oh.
He writes me a note about 10 minutes ago. Hey man, I'm literally going to be just running in at the last second. I'm like, how is this different than anything lately? You know?
No, this is really running in. Like, this is just like throwing everything together in like 3 minutes.
I was laughing because I was watching you backstage, and he's running a slider. I'm like, watch, it's like NASA setting up, man. He's like, I got a slider going. He's like, I got to get all pretty. And he's getting his Bluetooth and I don't know, all fun
and
stuff.
I just transferred. Like, I just got two new S22s. One of them's for my wife, one is for me. And I just moved all the data over and set them up before we came on. So
because they were not going to
racing around to finish that.
They were going to wait until you stream to get their Googlers set up and their Twitters up.
We're going on vacation come Friday, so that was the part of the thing. I need to get this all done.
Yeah, you can't be doing this. I mean, tomorrow's Thursday, which means that's it. You know, You leave Friday, dude, which means you got
how much did you pay for this pencil mic that you got?
Okay, that's funny. So there's a couple things going on here. I thought we'd enjoy a little retro night. So the mic I was using, which that Shure 137 before I really loved, is broken. So I'm like, what am I gonna do for an overhead mic? And so long ago, someone gave me these really intro level overheads for hi-hat cymbals. They're XMLs. And so they're a 60, let's see if it picks up, 603S. Now the S just means they're pairs. If you get the 603, it's a single mic, okay? And
for stereo, right? It's stereo. Right.
And so I'm like, let's just try it out because I don't know what this is going to sound like when we use it with the wave and all that deal. And about, an hour before I came on, I threw it up there and didn't really have a chance to mess with it. So I told John, man, we may have to fiddle with this live because I don't know what it's going to sound like. So hopefully,
I think it sounds great. I'm impressed.
Yeah. So just to be clear on that, this mic, like new for a pair, was $179. Right now, I was just on eBay taking a look around, but even not even on eBay. What's that about? Learn how to speak. I was seeing like $42, $30 used, $39 used, and then you have a pair, but don't pay.
Yeah.
Don't pay $199.
Listen, we have a couple eBay sellers in here, and the thing is, you got to check sold. So you have to go under the sold's completed listings.
Please do.
And then we'll know exactly what they're selling for.
Exactly. You got to be real careful with that.
Yeah. I mean, we got people watching here, and we don't need that corrections, and they'll be all over us. Tommy. And,
what are you doing? Yeah.
MD Picker and Anytime Picker. By the way,
change your photo.
Yeah, Shay came in, and nice. Brian's here. Patrick, how you doing, guys? Anytime Picker, man. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, Anytime.
There's Tommy.
I want to say hi to Anytime here, though.
Yeah.
Patrick, how you doing, sir? Good to see you, man. Anytime, how you doing? Today is Friday, but kind of Wednesday. I'm so messed up because I had a trip last week and I came back on Monday. And so traveling back on Monday feels weird, and then Tuesday's here and it feels like a Monday. I'm so off this week. It's never going to work out for me.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is that I think he's saying because everybody is off on Friday. Just about everybody is off. Oh,
that's right. Friday. That's right. So it's a weird week. Yeah. You leave Friday, so there you go.
I leave Friday morning. Yes.
You do leave Friday morning. Okay. And you're going to Peru, right? With the family, because that seems like a reasonable trip over the holidays.
Yeah, we're looking for mics and cameras in Peru. To resell. We're going to peruse.
It makes sense. That's where you would go for stuff like
that. Roman is right up. It's right up my alley, brother. I'm always looking for something that I can get my hands on to resell and upgrade or help my studio look better and pay for it.
You know what? Anytime, I'm going to buy them all and sell them to John. It's a very good plan.
Yeah.
And then he'll upsell them to somebody because he'll get a good deal on me because that's what John does.
Yeah.
Literally, John, I'm going to take you to every garage sale ever from now on. I'm just going to take you with me. We could do it remote. I'll put you on my phone. I'll bring you with me like on a chain, and then you negotiate with the guy. You know what I mean? We'll do it live. That'd be kind of fun, actually.
I think, Sammy, I sound deeper today because I've been using the overhead, and of course that just doesn't sound as good. It really does sound great for an overhead out of shop mic, but it doesn't sound as good as having a Rode NT1 in front of you.
That NT1 drops about an octave.
Right. But I do have a new pop filter on, and I am loving this pop filter. I think it's amazing. And I've known about it for a while, but I've always noticed that with the NT1, the P's really peeve me off. And you can hear them. All of a sudden, I'll be listening, I'll be talking, all of a sudden, and it's bad. I picked up this Stedman 101 pop filter,
right?
And I love it. I love it. So if you're looking for a good pop filter, metal pop filter, the Stedman 101.
And of course,
in America.
You and I have gone down so many roads with mics, and I love how you sound on the NT1. And then it was this whole thing, got the 320, which I do love. I think it's a great mic. But then John and I was going through some video from a year ago of some sound checks I was taking when I had the SM7B. Now, John and I have had commentary about the SM7B, rightfully so. And of course, we both went, your voice actually sounds pretty good on that SM7B.
It did. It sounded good on that because I think you modulate a lot and you come in and out and you go high, come low, and you got a lot of mids, and that mic probably brings everything just tighter together.
I agree. My dynamic range, which is another way of saying I'm manic vocally. Where John has a lot of discipline in the way he sits, and he's got that deep voice and talks, and it's just like, Jesus, dude. And then there's me. I feel like a puppet on his lap. He's just doing a show with me, like a you know what I mean, man. I mean, I'm the spark puppet.
My voice is different. I don't think I've never
Darlene.
spent time on an SM7B, but I don't think it's really me, and it's not really something I'm interested in getting. If I really got a steal of a deal on it.
I just feel like
I don't think
it'll double down too much on your voice. That's how I feel. Okay, Darlene, how you doing? Drove right by your house the other day. Huh? You sound monotone.
Yeah, you did. Going north, you drove right by.
I took a picture of the Sheboygan sign and I sent it to Tommy on Instagram. It was a wonderful trip, Sammy. I needed it. And I got dumped into a 4-week thing when I got back. Got dumped right into something when I got back. So it's been good. Doctor.
You've been ultra busy.
It's been nuts. Busy. It's going to be a crazy 4 weeks. Next 4 weeks are tough. And I know Patrick, if he's here, he'll understand it. But so I'm taking the 14th version of Tiago's Build a Second Brain sessions for the next 4 weeks, and I love it. But it's 24 hours a day now. I'm just not settling.
Yeah, well, explain what that is. It's for what? Learning what?
It's about building your second brain. So we've mentioned it here. So if anybody, this is going to be something, by the way, it's starting to become mainstream. So this is something that will start to take hold in more of the media and be more of a thing. But ultimately, this is a way of addressing what we're dealing with information exhaustion, and how we are finding ourselves with too much information. Hundreds of years ago, there was only like a couple books. There wasn't enough information, and we've gone through different eras of, time was a resource. Physical resources were, the most precious commodity, time. And now we're into something called perspective. They call it the perspective era. Anyway, bottom line is we're all dealing with information exhaustion. And as creators, especially, whether you write or you do videos, it's one thing to capture information, and there's some great ways to do that without friction, but it's another one to make sure to build a second brain, they call it, of capturing, of storing, and distilling all that information that you capture, right, into something that's creative output. Because if you don't, you're just hoarding information. It's just stuff sitting in buckets of folders somewhere, right? So I'm giving it a very raw, throw here, but it's really, it's what I like about it is it's not about the tools. It's about the process, and you can use any tools. It's really about simplifying a process. And once you do that and you learn how to be intentional with your research and intentional with what you are trying to do. And this is something, as someone who has a little ADHD, probably, as somebody who is overwhelmed and a perfectionist, I needed something like that. So for me, this is wonderful. So that's the nutshell of that. But of course,
nice.
It's kind of long-winded. Oh my gosh, TH2.
My
How you
second
doing?
brain hurts.
My second brain. The whole point is we cannot create. We cannot create, by the way, if we're trying to juggle all this information in our head. One, our head is not made for storage. It's made for learning and dumping it, and creating. But you can't, if you're thinking about problems, if you're thinking about, am I going to remember this or that, you are not going to leave space to create, to come up with new ideas or to act on things. So building a second brain, a process that you trust, where that information is, you know where to put it, you know where to retrieve it, and maybe if you do it right, it will find each other in discoverable ways. That is powerful stuff. That's where you can batch and batch and batch without really much effort, almost like you're sleeping, like a stock market. TH, how you doing?
That's where we want to get someday.
That's where we want to get someday. So I'm all into that. Yeah, he is. John, you'd be, you know what you'd be great at? I would love to see you in like a voiceover character for like Disney or something. You know what I mean? Like a cool toy soldier in a Toy Story, something like that. That'd be cool for you, man.
I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not asking. I'm telling you. Tommy, I've killed one brain already. Why not go for two?
Right.
Is that the one he's sitting on?
Brains. So Elo repackaged some of that interview I did with him a while ago.
I remember that.
And he put out some Instagram stuff. It went really well. Kind of like this little short clip that just kind of put together what my channel was kind of about. And it was like perfect, actually. And so I want to thank him since he's in here too. And I tell you, things have been trucking along these last couple weeks. Like things have, for me, out of the blue, because I know we talked about this. I remember months and months ago, Zan the man would always, I talked to him. He's like, you need to start selling yourself. You need to start putting some kind of, stuff together so you can start doing, courses, or perhaps you need to start doing consultations. And I was like, I'm not ready yet. I just want to keep giving, reach out to more people, this and that. Yeah. And so I didn't really extend myself at all with that and let people know. So in the last about 4 weeks, I would say, or so, I've had a total of 4 people come out to me and reach out to me about consultation stuff. And I was kind of blown away, but not overly surprised, because it's something I'm looking to do eventually, but kind of surprised too, because I was flattered, of course. And
it's a natural evolution
out
of
the 4 3 out of the 4 people have decided to do it. And so they're going to do it. And I'm not saying that the 4th person won't, but at this time, it's the 3 out of the 4. And it's been really kind of cool to see. And it goes from anything from starting their studio from scratch to building out high-end studios, or building out really simple stuff, to picking out the proper laptop or PC for them even. So it goes from that. And it's not about just like, oh, I'm picking this because I got to go and kind of explain to them why I'm picking that product and the benefits of it and what it can and can't do. Kind of got to cover your bases on both ends, because like everything, not one of anything covers everything. So it's, like if no one has a PC or a computer at all, and you go and say, hey, what are you looking to do? A desktop or a laptop? What do you suggest? And I said, listen, if you don't have anything, I would like you to go a high-end laptop. This way you can travel with it, you can utilize it. And they're not going to be going like you and I, hooking up 4 or 5 cameras or whatever and run and streaming. They may hook up 2 cameras, 3, but the laptop, I'll suggest to them, is going to be something that's going to be powerful enough to do everything they need to do, plus edit and be creative and use the programs they want. So
I'm excited for you. I think, obviously I feel like they're in good hands, and, but it'll be interesting to see as you go out, on this journey. Well,
it's my first step. Yeah, it's your first step. And I wasn't even ready, but like you had that thing come out of the blue too, where the guy wanted you to make 6, short videos. And it's like, you get blindsided by that kind of stuff in a way.
You do, and you're flattered, and then you go, I don't know, am I ready for this? And then you go, oh, that's how much you're willing to pay. Okay. And you figure I'll fake it till I make it. And I got to tell you, I wish I could follow my own advice, because every time I do something like that, it always ends up being such a productive thing or a positive thing. And yet I'm so bad at like little things, like just kind of, come on, man, like do a small video but I did that. That was a big chunk. Like you say, it came out of nowhere. And I think those are good things to do, because I think when you do things like that, you can come back and you have more to say about the process to yourself. I have a lot of thoughts about it. And then, of course, to people that you're talking to every day. And you'll do the same thing, because when you start going out and consulting and setting people up, you're going to run into all sorts of interesting things you never saw coming. That'll be very interesting conversation points for people who are looking to get started, right? So that's a great experience. Yeah, I think Buzz Lightyear, because they're getting rid of Tim Allen. So,
Thanks.
I agree.
Hi, Roxanne.
Roxanne.
I think it's part of also
lipstick.
learning to cover your bases. You know, like what you said, is like you get into these conversations and it's like sometimes you have to cover when people don't know anything. Yeah. It's like it gets as basic as, okay, a laptop. First of all, what's your price range? What have you used? You know, have you used a Mac or Windows for the last X amount of years? Yeah. And, you know, if this is what you've been using for, we're going to stick with that. And, you know, because the majority of the people, they're not using Macs. The majority of people are using PCs. Yeah, and that's true. Most of the people streaming are using PCs. And most of the people, and just about all of the people who stream and game use PCs. You know, 100% because they're not using a Mac.
They're not using a Mac for gaming unless they're playing like some piddly card game or something like that. And just to kind of pause there for a second. So if you're walking in here late, I'm using about a $40 to $60 overhead pencil mic. So any opinions on it? If it's too harsh, if it's too loud, if I'm not in balance with John, we're just going to play it live because we had 60 minutes tonight to get on here and say hi to you guys and have a discussion. So I'm working with this. You don't need $1,000 pencil mic to get away with this stuff. I'm going to use this on my next recorded video. By the way, my GoXLR video, I don't mean to congratulate myself, but it's the first time I've ever had a video go over 1,000 views. So I was mildly surprised. Thank you, everybody. Yes, exactly.
Oh, geez.
Thank you, Mom. Appreciate that. And meanwhile, I see people with like 200,000 views. But you know what? It was the first time first time. What am I going to tell you? I've never had a video go over 1,000 views. So right. I'm grateful. Thank you for the support, everybody. So before we continue, so I'm using this really cheap mic right now. Okay, it's overhead, but whatever. And there's something else. Don't say anything, John, but there's something else different tonight with my stream. And if you can, I'm just curious, the first person that can pull out what's different. What is going on different with my presentation? Huh?
You colored your hair?
No, it did not color my hair.
Okay.
I will next time though. That'd be fun.
What's the name of the mic again that you used?
It's okay. So it's a XML. This is the sister of it. So it's a pair. It's a XML 603. Here we go. 603S. Now the S is not that relevant. It just means that if you see a 603S, it's a pair. If you see a 603, it's a single mic. Is it as good as my Shure 137 that I was using? No. But I'll have to go back and see what the comparison is when I get it dialed in. I haven't worked with any EQ, dialed it in. My voice is raw because I've been on sessions for like 8 hours in the last 2 days. So anything right now probably sounds pretty rough.
One right out of New York. Buy it now, $60 plus $10 shipping.
Yeah, $60 is probably a real price. $40 I think is just kind of like maybe you can bid on somebody on Amazon. I mean, eBay and get it, but I think 60 is reasonable. You can get them for $180 for a pair. So, you know, they've been out a while. These are not new mics. So,
here's one, $42. Buy it now plus $12 shipping. So here you go, $40
to $60. I'm telling you, like shipped. I think for 40 or 60 bucks, it sounds pretty good, right?
Holy
it's not
crap.
Not bad.
Here's another one, $30 plus $7 shipping. So seriously, I mean, some of these might be really old. Who knows?
I would imagine they are, but this one's really old. I'm really old. This one's probably 10 years old, I think. So
okay, there you go. Right. You know? So
and I've beaten the crap out of this.
Sounds good, and it goes back to mic technique and setting things up and having the right equipment and stuff like that. So
all of that is so important, right? And maybe not screaming like a maniac like I do, but all that's true. Positioning, angle, how you're doing it, maybe a VST3 to cut down, because this mic will pick up a lot of fan noise here. But the NS1 floored it out. I don't know. I don't hear it too much. Todd, I hope you're well,
man.
I got
a fan going right now.
You do, or I do?
I have a fan blowing on me, that little 5-inch fan.
Gotcha.
You know, because it's like 76 degrees here today.
I don't know. What is this? 3 out of 4 dentists and streamers agree. I missed out on that. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to laugh anyway.
that the mic sounds good. Maybe.
Yeah. So
it does.
What? I'm sorry, what?
What's Roxanne accent up here? She says the pencil mic takes well the sound, but it doesn't sound as well rounded. No, and they don't. None of them will.
Oh, I apologize.
It's just that to sound as good as he does, it's not anybody that's gonna just grab it and sound that good.
It's good to see you, sir. How are you doing? You out there?
I'm a Mateo.
Working it out, doing your business over on YouTube. It's good to see you, man.
Mateo is from Nigeria.
Yes.
And so he pops in. He actually just dropped into my channel the other day and is like, dude, I haven't seen you in a while streaming. I just want to say, hey, well,
that's so
check
nice.
out and see how you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
That was nice.
Yeah, I'm not paying $9 for a cup of latte, but they do it. It's really funny, the priorities of people on that. I did notice when I filled up my gas tank to go north, because we drove, that's the most that's the highest cost I've ever put into my gas tank in this car. So I was like, oh, Nike. Okay, it is getting a little out of hand. Thank you, Amate. I appreciate that, man.
It's actually coming down a little bit here.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting this summer because you know how summer is. And then the way jet fuel is, it's driving those prices up, which means more and more people are going to drive for their vacations this summer, which will add more of a demand.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's going to hit $5 at some point this summer or more in certain areas. I know some areas like California have already hit that. So, what are you going to do? Name of mic. So did we answer that? That was 4 minutes ago. That's the, it's the XML 603S.
XML.
I can do this. I can do it.
Yeah. MXL 603S. It is an XLR mic, so you definitely would need a audio interface for that. But the point is that people are always looking
so too.
And it's underutilized, right? It's underutilized. A lot of people don't use it. It's underrated. People don't know how to set them up. They don't know how to sound as good.
Yeah.
And so they don't tend to use it all the time, but it's an out of shop mic, and to spend 40 or 50 bucks and sound that good is awesome. Cause your old one was closer to 300 and this one that I use is $260.
Right.
And a lot of people spend a lot more than that.
And I haven't even worked on EQing this particular mic's frequency, which is a little odd. So if I can go in there, maybe I can create a little more presence. I know Roxanne was saying it's not maybe as full. And a lot of times what you have to do is really figure out that delicate balance of the low end and pull the mud and then try to figure out that 5 hertz where you can,
what frequency
can find that will give you a little bit of presence, and then try to round that out. And yes, these mics are definitely more difficult. And they're never going to sound like a R320 or an SM7B, but they can sound really clear. Like this is a clear sounding mic, articulate.
But they
mic.
will sound almost exactly the same on your phone.
This is true because there's so we're getting different.
The phone does not have the dynamic range as like semi speakers do. Or your computer speakers for that matter, and your phone, it will sound darn close the same.
So we're getting some different questions about my presentation. So Amateo's saying that the background color is different. Okay, that's one. Sammy had mentioned something about the overlay of the chat. Roxanne's asking if we move the camera in closer. Good guesses. Brighter light above, that is actually correct for sure. That wasn't the answer, but I put
but that
I took one of these lights with a magnet on it, and I just magneted it up there and turned it on, and it's giving me the headlight, or the hair light. So that's there, but that's not it. It's not quite it. Good observation. Let's see if we got anybody else here. Oh, I can't step over Danielle. So all the socks are washed, as I understand it, and you're ready. I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring you back. And you're ready to get out of town, so that's cool. Let's see.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, my coworker that I drive in with tested positive today.
There's a lot more glare on my glasses. A lot more. There might be a little more. I have a light over here that's on it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot more, but that could be true to some. I can't say. It's not a new studio because I'm in the same position I've been in too long. I got to get my stuff together.
Right.
This is interesting. The brightness of Jeff's mic makes John sound like it's under a mattress. Mine definitely is going to be very sibilant. This mic is made for hi-hats, so it's really gonna sizzle at that very top end. And it's gonna be hard to control. It's really on me as a user too, to not. I'm so used. I push into mics too much, and where John is very controlled with his breath, and he's good. I will tend to push too much, and sometimes with the front of my mouth. And there's a difference, right? You get down here, is out here, and that's technique, right? So. I imagine it does sound different, you know. Yeah, you caught me on that one. You're right. I was moving. It's not the light, but these are great. You guys are way.
Hey, smelly turtle.
They are way more on top of it. I mean, I'm actually kind of shocked at how many of these things. Yeah, that little light back there, I was testing, but it's not. It's a no-go. I'm gonna get rid of that.
Right.
Yeah, the TV's been there. Okay, I guess I can clue them in here in a second.
Hey,
smelly turtle.
What's going on, Brian?
He said handsome devil, so it's not just you this time. It's also me.
It's actually you too.
It's me too, man.
That's amazing.
Oh, look at that.
That's amazing.
What's going on, man? How you been, sir? Beards and banjos. Jumping in on here. Do you like banjos? I don't know why, but I've always liked banjos.
It's a cool sound.
I remember Deliverance watching the...
Just tell us already, right? I know he's making you guess, like jumping through hoops. He gets so excited about this stuff.
I do, and so dumb too. You won't even be that impressed when I tell you. So that's like, nah. Okay, I'll tell you. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't want to oversell it either. So no, I'm using. Go ahead.
I actually did that, Roxanne. I actually pushed my f-stop. I'm at 2.8 instead of 1.4. I did that 2 weeks ago. But you, go ahead. You might as well just tell them.
Yeah, I'm using my Sony A5100 for streaming tonight. I wanted to see, we were talking about how much of a difference, in other words, is it worth me really going and spending $800 on the camera right now, or should I go buy a used Sigma, for example, for say $280? You could probably find them if you're lucky in that range, right?
Yeah, and that is the answer for sure.
And I'm just looking at this picture and I'm going, I didn't white balance it.
8-year-old camera. Yep. This is 8 years old, this camera. 2014 A5100.
Yeah. I bought it used. So I'm using a $50 mic. I got this camera for $325 a year ago. I'd seen it for $299-ish. So say $300 still on eBay, depending. So I'm at $340.
Yeah, that's about the average.
And then I probably could get, let's just say you paid as much as $300 for the Sigma. So I mean for the mic and the camera. So $640 would get me all three of those items. I just want, and I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. I'm just saying that I don't know if it's worth me spending right now $800 on a camera, or just buy the lens that I can use somewhere else and get some more mileage out of this camera for a B shot. It seems like it would
lens work. And you're set.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone mentioned compression. I don't mind. I'm not a big fan of compression because I think people are terrible at it. And it makes them sound like robots.
Most
way
people
too much.
Over compress.
They over compress, and it sounds like ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. Most people have no idea what
it is though. Is right, and then what a compressor should do is,
here's the comment.
You should be able to kind of like go a little higher and then go a little lower, and it still keeps keeps the sound a little bit tighter in the range. Well,
it's going to help. It's going to bring your lowest up, and it's going to bring your high. It's going to stop your high from going crazy. The problem is, depending on your ratio, people get crazy with the ratio. And the next thing you know, if you get so tight, there is no range and you sound like a robot. So it's a thing. It can work. I personally think it's more about my technique, because I think if I watch how I actually technique the mic, I wouldn't have to worry about compression so much. And so I think a lot of that's true, but I think there are some people who, in all fairness to this comment, there are people who, the way they speak very low, and it's not so much even stopping their high end, it's helping to level out some of that, bring that low end up and not, So I mean, it has a place. Don't get me wrong. I just think that I can do better on the
also,
mic.
Like, if you're turning, actually, I'm actually turning mine down a little bit, because as I'm closer, and I didn't really have time to mess with this mic correctly because I just switched from the overhead to this. I see my compression was a little bit high, and I just turned it down a couple notches actually. But if you turn your head a little bit like this, instead of it dropping off hard, it just still should pick up pretty decent on the side here. And little things like that. So you don't have that modulating change. Like if someone's looking around a lot, it's not like a big difference in the sound. You know, it keeps things tighter, which is, people enjoy your videos more or your live streaming more if you're sounding that way too. So,
I mean, a touch of compression, it can do some wonders. I just think there are other things. Like I would rather use a limiter personally, because I find that you get more of a dynamic range with that limiting. You don't, it doesn't start to screw with all your dynamic range. I think that's the problem. So many people, they compress so much, they've lost all of human dynamic sound to it, and the sound starts to sound artificial.
Sound robotic.
But then there are times where compression works. For example, drums are great for compression. So that's cool. And there are singers who really need it because of their style. I mean, I'm not against compression, don't get me wrong. I just think if you're not knowing what you're doing, it can be a disaster. And technique, I think, is where you should start first and then decide if you need it. And I do worry, when I listen back at this, I'm probably going to see that as I talk too loud, I'm going to be over the top of you a little bit, maybe at times. So I'm going to try to speak a little bit more back a little bit. I haven't had a pencil mic in a while. It's
nice that you have it back.
Yeah, I like it. The pencil mic.
I can hear the fan on John pretty loud when his gate is open. Oh, you can. Good for you. You got headphones on then, probably, right?
Got some good cans on. He's like, yeah. Bella Flack turned you onto banjos, Tommy. Jesus. Bluegrass is fun. I think bluegrass.
Let's see if we can get rid of it now.
Yeah, go to a bluegrass. Let's go to a festival once in a while. It's just fun to sit there. It's good music to hit there and vibe and just kind of screw around, man. I like that. Well, okay. Yeah. Now, how many watch on mobile? Hard to see difference. And that's the thing. It's like, I mean, it's true. I mean, I can't shoot in 4K, but as a B camera for maybe a little side shot when I'm doing something and recording a video or for live, come on. I mean, right now, money's tight. I have other things I want to spend it on. I can buy a Sigma and move on, and and when I upgrade, maybe that's a decision because I already have the lens. I go, oh, maybe I'll get the Z10 or some another 6400.
I don't know. I don't think anyone in their right mind would complain, because that lens really just does a heck of a job. And then I just think you got to work on coloration a little bit, because that's the main downfall with the 5100 is
I didn't white balance
tonight.
The
spectrum isn't the same.
It's not. You
didn't white balance, but still, it's like that era of Sony goes a little bit more green.
It's tougher. So. That's the downer of keeping it is coloring. You got to work on a little bit more.
Second camera, who cares?
Well, that's exactly right. It's really just more for reference. I'm going to shoot everything in black and white. It's a good catch though. The more yellow spectrum's true. Like you'll see that, and so it is an issue. And I put this up like an hour before stream. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even have time to mess around. I saw the difference.
Right.
I don't know if I can pull this off. Hang on a second. Let me see here real quick. Everybody be patient. Maybe do some taxes.
You have your NS1 on, right?
I do have my NS1 on. I do. I didn't change it though. So I was like, well, I could be more aggressive, but I didn't want to. So let's see. I did a 6400. Let's zoom. Let's do this. And let's do the 5100. Maybe this will help a little bit. Here we go. So I'm going to do a screen thing here in a second. You can see the difference here though.
It does look clear. It does, Tommy. He looks clear. It's just the color is a little off. That's what I'm saying. No one would complain. I think it looks good.
I thought John would get on and right away go, dude, something looks different. Because you're always like on it. Like you're like, dude, something looks different. Something looks off, And you're usually right.
Look really good, but it's not that big of a difference.
No. I mean, let's just look at it this way. I'm gonna screen share here. Desktop this. So here's a side by side. Try to do the same pose, right? Can you tell which one's the 6400? Which one's the 5100? I think you can. I think Power Roxanne could. I have it labeled, so that's why it's
I'm hoping the one on my right is the 6400. I mean the 5100.
You're okay. This right here is the 6400.
Okay, so I was wrong.
And what
that
I
looks
noticed
more yellow to me.
Here's the thing. There's one unfair thing though going on here, and I realize this now. Is my lights probably the K value when they come on? You have to adjust these boxes. So that was pretty yellow because when they come on, they're very yellow. So it is
white
true.
Balance is more off on that one.
Yeah,
but as far as the clarity in the picture, it's not night and day because we're in 1080p, so it's not going to be.
I think the biggest thing besides a little coloration is you see the dynamic range here. On the left, it's a little darker than, you know what I mean? Like the lights are just a little darker. I know it's a little more clear on the shirt, but you know what I mean? In general,
same ISO?
Yeah, I had the same ISO. So, I mean, 400 is what I'm using for my ISO. But I mean, overall, I was actually I didn't think it would even be this close.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It really is.
Yeah, definitely the left looks more pale. I agree. Now, part of that, again, might be my fault. And this wasn't this was so quick because I had no time today. There's some truth. It wasn't really in a vacuum because the lights have changed and I did not match up the K values. That's a total
but coloration isn't like, I'm talking about if you look at the drums in the back,
yes,
you could see like if you'd spend a little time, they're not as clear on the left, which is true.
Right.
And there's a little bit of difference in the dynamic range, but I wasn't even looking at that, right? Because I wasn't going nuts. I was just looking at your face more than anything.
Yeah, your eye's not going to really, yeah, you're right.
Pick that up, right?
So I don't know. It's just interesting. I mean, hey, Daniel, how you doing? He just went on a trip. Big old trip with his bearded friends and family.
He was down in Florida again, right?
I'm not sure, but I believe one of his lovely little children may have a birthday the same day as me or so.
But, I saw that, but I can't keep up with everybody. I'm so
well. You should, man. I don't know what to tell you. I was so jealous. I was watching his feeds with all these pictures down there, and they're on shorts, and they're having a good time. I'm like, it looks like so much fun. And then Ken, he was like in St. Martin's or something. And he was doing some stuff down there. I'm like,
yeah, he was in St. Martin, right?
Yeah.
And then it's funny because when I saw Dan, he's like talking, and he's like, I am not good in hot weather, and I'm like, I am the same exact way. I mean, you could put me in almost the cold of cold, but the heat, man, weather. It destroys me.
It does, and I grew up
like that.
And I gotta tell you, growing up in Tennessee and Mississippi, the humidity is the real deal, man.
New Jersey is a lot like that, yeah.
Oh, you guys get I don't think you guys get as humid as. You don't get as humid as Tennessee.
It's really bad every summer.
Really?
Humidity is horrendous.
You're 80, 90% humidity.
Yes, a lot. Yep.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a little shocked.
Humidity in New Jersey is bad.
Okay.
And especially July and August. Those are the two worst.
This is a question. I don't even know if I can answer this question. Do those cameras offer different ratios, 4:5 and 2:3? Does that make sense to you? I'm trying to figure out. I don't know
what she means.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't have an answer for that.
You're talking about picture size? You're talking about like six,
Yeah. Yeah, something compared to something.
16:9, 4:5, 2:3. I think that's what she's talking about. Different size.
Like 16:9, you mean? Like that deal?
Yeah, like right now, everything that we do for video will always be
16:9.
16:9. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked into that enough. I mean, maybe. I don't think the 5100 has a whole lot of options on that, but I have to take a look.
It's a good question. Is people don't know that we get tornadoes. We do get tornadoes.
Yeah, we're on a wind advisory now.
Alien sightings too. You're so funny, Dan, because alien sightings in New Jersey is like a thing, especially in the 60s.
It's not just that.
It was.
Don't you guys have the Mothman?
Reservoir.
Don't you have the Mothman? Is from New Jersey too, right?
I don't know the Mothman.
Oh, shut up.
The Jersey Devil was.
That's the Mothman, I believe.
I don't know what the Mothman is.
Well, I think they're kind of the same thing.
And then they had
doesn't know what the Mothman
in the
is.
60s. It was this reservoir in Ringwood, and people would literally line the reservoir and look at the
You nailed it, darling.
stars to look for these things, whatever. Yep.
I mean, people
Alien
do.
sightings.
People are
And then
seeing
you
the
got
same
Clinton
things
Road.
we're seeing. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. There's water around there. There's obviously the oceans. That could obviously raise humidity. Like you go to San Diego, spend some time there. It always feels wet and clammy. And I don't believe you're at a high. You're probably pretty swampy. Like you're pretty low elevation, right? We're 500 feet here, I think. Max.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about what we are. I'm probably at about 250, 300.
Okay. It's true. I mean, the alien
point is high point.
That makes sense. The alien sightings is absolutely the real deal. I mean,
yeah, Mothman was West Virginia.
Oh, okay. It was West Virginia. Oh man, of course it would be West Virginia. But you have the devil there.
The most abandoned.
I've seen the devil.
The Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil.
That's like one thing.
Yeah, that's real though. That's not like made up.
I don't know
so
what that is.
It's crazy. You guys are also known for who was that guy? The Jersey Shore people. You know, I can't even think of their names anymore.
Which none of them are from New Jersey.
Right.
Almost all of them weren't from Jersey.
Hi, my name is The Game, and I'm from New Jersey. No, you're not. You're from like Connecticut.
One's from Poughkeepsie, one's from Massachusetts. The other one, they're not.
So nuts.
They're not even from Jersey.
Hi, I'm Kooky, and I'm from Riverdale, New Jersey.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Riverdale's close. Wow.
Abandoned casinos in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
I imagine by now that's true.
Yeah.
Like, how many did you guys lose on the boardwalk? Have you lost a lot of?
I mean, I don't go there a lot, but there's been a lot of, And throughout my lifetime, a lot have gone out of business, and it's really shady down there lots of times. My aunt used to work for Resorts Casino in the 70s, and that's when everybody used to go, though. Everybody used to go there.
I've been to the boardwalk, but I've never gone.
The big boxing.
Oh, yeah.
All the huge boxing matches were always there. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So you excited for your trip? Like John, so just in case you're late, John and I jumped on like to do a 60-minute. We're firm on 60, by the way. When 60 hits, we're off. John's packing his undies because he's got to get on his trip, and he's got a big one coming up. And you're going to be, you're going to see the Mothman in Virginia, and and then I'll have to solo stream next week if I decide I'm got to come up with something for the people. If they want me to, maybe they don't care, but BGG Grooming. We are not alone. No, I feel like that the bearding guys kind of have an alien kind of tribe to them, maybe a little bit. Maybe they're not from around here with those long beards, and that's their like calling card or something. Could be. They're the reptilians.
Yeah, they're from Oklahoma. Beards are in though. Beards are in everywhere.
They're everywhere now.
That's what's just. It's
Snooki.
so popular right now, and Snooki
just got back from Cape May, New Jersey. Do you know that?
She was from close to Poughkeepsie. Yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, Cape May. That is way south. So because that's close to where he lives, but Cape May is really nice, and I've never been there, and I've been wanting to go, but I've never been there.
Snooki. Oh my gosh.
Because there's so many shore spots,
Yeah, I don't. Last I heard, Snooki was, Snooki had like 10 babies or something, and I don't know what's going on, man. It's like crazy. JWoww. Okay, that's the other one. JWoww. What was the other one? There was a guy like.
There was only one girl from Jersey. I think Samantha was like the only one I think who was actually from Jersey.
Yeah, well, that's kind of nuts. Dan wants to know about a solo drum stream next week. Yeah, we could do that. Maybe I'll set them up. I actually have some sticks here because I'm tap padding because I get bored while I'm watching some of these sessions. I sit here and I just put my avatar up and I just tap away. We could just do some rudiments next week or whatever. So my drum heads are on order, by the way. So I've got some new heads coming that will allow me to tap into that new focus rate. That'll be kind of nice. So
well, Miles will bring this up again because he's only May, June, about
I know
8 to 10 weeks away before Dan actually goes full-time content creator.
It's coming.
So this is really an exciting time. He's got to be so pumped.
Dan, what's your?
Is just life-changing.
Yeah, it is. Dan, what's your mood level right now? Like, is it all over the map between like, just I just want this done, to I can't believe it's almost done, to I'm so ready to go, I can't wait to cut off and just kind of full time. I mean, I'm just curious where your pulse is. I just based on this, I'm guessing he's ready. I think the feeling he's ready. Yeah. Well,
Tommy, I've taken that ferry. That is a nice ferry to take, actually. It really is nice. And they had the shopping outlets. And I did do that whole thing with the ferry and the shopping outlets.
We take a ferry here to go over to like Michigan because it's quicker than driving through Chicago and going up. So we can ferry over.
Around.
Huh? Yeah. So I live on.
Yeah, you cut across, right?
The west side of Lake Michigan. Like I'm like a mile off Lake Michigan. So then I'd have to go all the way down Milwaukee, Chicago. It's a pain in the ass. Then you got to go up. So you just take the ferry. You're over in Traverse City or Mackinac Island or whatever. It's like it's pretty cool.
And then you're really close to Dan.
That's right.
Flint,
yeah. I'm going to go over there and watch a Lions game with them.
Same. Yeah.
Tell you what, Dan, I'll even buy you some tickets so we can watch a Lions-Packers game next year.
Yeah, unless Barry Sanders is playing. I don't know if I'm going to watch that.
Barry Sanders, Jesus. Muskegon, I know Muskegon. My parents were living in Holland, Stevensville. We were in Port Huron, Michigan. I've lived all over Michigan, man. So I know it well. Yeah, Marysville, Michigan. Yeah, Sheboygan Shipyard. Hey, man. I just went and I sent you some photos of that shipyards up there. I saw they were making ships up there north where I was, right? So I sent you some photos of the ship makers. So I did see some shipyards, actually. It's pretty cool. Through Muskegon. Yeah, no Muskegon. It sounds like Dan's ready, though, man. Dan's ready to kick it out and just gonna put his shorts on and fire up and go. That's excining. Yeah, tell me, we'll get that shipyard going.
This is also my first live stream with vMix using my new GPU.
Oh, that's right. So tell you put the 3060, put the 3060 NVIDIA in.
Right? Yep.
It's RTX
enabled.
TI?
It's an RTX.
Okay.
3060, 12 gig, and I enabled the whatchamacallit bar. What is that called again?
vMix.
I did a live stream on it.
You did. You did. I remember that.
I just did a live stream on it.
You should watch your live stream and come back and talk to us about it, John.
I should go look at my own live stream. But it's something that enables and it opens up more accessible memory for.
But let me ask you this,
and I'm actually using it. It looks everything.
Okay,
looks great.
Is that on all levels of vMix, or is that just on your level and up?
Well, it's not just vMix. It's also used for gaming. So if you have a 3060 in a laptop,
you're talking about the NVIDIA
enabled it.
All right.
It's not just NVIDIA. They call it a different name for the AMD stuff. It's the same stuff. It's just random access memory that they're picking up extra. So the CPU and the memory and the memory of the video card all speak together, and they throw this memory around a lot more and make it work. And it's supposedly in some games it ups it 30% with
That's
frame
a
rate.
lot. That's a lot.
So it's
That's
a lot. And so a lot of people don't even know how to enable it, but there's a couple things that you have to enable.
I mean, in Windows you can do that. You could go in and in Windows you can go in and isolate and say, hey, I need you to leverage the GPU on this NVIDIA card more.
It's
for
the
this
same
app.
idea.
Okay, it's just for the AMD. You're going through it a different way. That's what you're talking about, though, right?
It's scripts.
You can pick and choose. You can go in and say, for these apps, I want you to leverage the GPU.
Yeah,
heavier.
but it's not that. It's something that was never able to be done until the RTX 3060 came out, and the motherboards were allowing it. So if I have a motherboard from 2 years ago, I would have to update the BIOS. I would have to update the BIOS of the VBIOS of a video card also if it was older. And then I would have to do both of those two things, come into and update the latest drivers of NVIDIA, and then I would have to enable that in the NVIDIA controlware for it to all work.
All right.
So you have to have the right CPU too, because not any CPU. You can have that video card, but if you don't have the right CPU, it won't work either.
Interesting.
So you need the up and up, you have to have a CPU. You have to have
You're using AMD,
so
that's
a motherboard.
Okay. I mean, I have
called random access memory or something with the AMD video cards. It's different, but there is the similar product.
It's okay.
They just name it different.
So just for word, I'm using the 3060 RTX in my laptop. Obviously, we're in it's a little different setup.
Yeah.
But it's still I do that. I can go in and leverage however I want with the Intel.
So if you wanted to see, I'll show you. If you wanted to check it,
it
would be as simple as this. It's I'll put my screen up. So if you were gonna just check and see, you would go to your control panel, NVIDIA, right? So that's a right click on your blank screen.
Yep.
And then this would pop up this, and then you would go to system information down at the bottom here. You click on that, and then this would pop up and it would say resizable bar right there, and it'd say yes or no. So if it says yes, it's enabled and working. If it's not, it's not. So you have to enable it. Then you have to check if you can enable it. But with a BIOS update, a lot of these things are all, coming together and working. So I had to update to the latest BIOS because they just put resizable bar in like within 12 months.
Okay. So looking at mine, so you can help me out.
Yeah.
So
go to system information at the bottom left, all the way at the bottom. There you go.
Where'd it go? There it is.
And there it is. And resizable bar, what's that say? I can't read it. Is it there even?
Yeah, where resizable bar. Is it going to be in here, right?
It should be in there if it's capable. So if
Maybe
it's not,
yeah.
If it's not there, that means that you don't have like the latest BIOS probably. So it's not even going to show it.
Yeah, I haven't
or
updated
the latest
my
drivers.
BIOS. Well, yeah, I should update my BIOS. I should do that anyway because it's been a long time. Maybe it'll pop up, but if not, not a problem. But that's interesting.
There's a really good chance that you have it. So at this point, for being that you use vMix and you game, this is what you should do. John, what GPU did you upgrade from? That's a good question, Chris. So I upgraded from a 2060. So that was a 2060 RTX 6 gig to a 3060 because I don't game. And if I do a little bit of gaming, it's nothing super intense. That's going to be crazy. And it's going to be in 1080p for that matter. And so the 3060 is plenty good for me. And then it comes with 12 gigs of memory, this version. And that's absolutely plenty. And I'm not like, I want you can spend more money than you need all the time. And so I was just evaluating about, do I really need to go further than what I have here?
That's what Anytime says. Just buy.
If you buy a video card that's worth $1,200, you'll be fine. Well, if you buy a video, actually at this point now, you could spend between $400 and $500 and you'll be fine.
Which is a lot, but it's way lower than it was. I mean,
yeah, the video card I got now for $400 was easily about $225 more about 2 months ago or less.
John, what's your opinion? T says on the Intel stick computer. I never knew they existed. Stick computer. I don't even know what a stick computer is. I don't even know what a stick computer is. What's a stick computer?
At this point right now, I don't use Intel chips for the last few years because with the AMD's multi-core chips are much more advanced and multitasking is much better with an AMD CPU. But as far as the reason why gamers, you have to realize some of these gamers, they're trying to squeeze 2% out of something. So they may go Intel for that matter, but they go back and forth. But overall, right now, there's more capability with the AMD chips.
I haven't worked with the stick computers, but I'd set up for some restaurants. Those little boxes are full-on computers. They're about this size. they attach to the TVs and they run things like they network them and everything. They're a little thicker than this because you can put an Ethernet in, and it's a crazy full OS, full Windows, everything on it. It's small and it's like, I don't know, like $200, but it's crazy how good those are.
I think it's the Windows that they put on the those kids. You know, the kids take to school, all those little laptop things. It's not really truly Windows. You can't move apps. It's like it looks.
Oh no,
like
you can
Windows,
do apps on it. It's actually people would use it as a remote.
It's apps. That's the thing. They're just apps built for that. It's not truly Windows.
I'll disagree. I went through those things. They're full on, man.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying with those things, but I guarantee you they're probably like, what are those? What do all those kids take to schools? What are those things called?
The Chromebooks.
They're not. Yeah, the Chromebooks on there, right? It opens up. It says Windows 10 on there and everything.
Chrome?
It's not Windows 10.
Chromebooks are Google.
Yeah.
They're Android. They're gonna.
Well, what's that?
They're gonna have like
Windows.
I mean, Windows probably has their own version of that. I don't know what. I don't really. He got the on-air sign. I think last week was the first time we saw it.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
A couple weeks ago, Dr. Elo. That's kind of an upgrade. Going from the the 1050 Ti to the 3050 is a pretty good jump, actually.
Just the 3050. Yeah, see.
We had talks about this. We were like, oh,
it's a huge difference in performance. Yeah, for you probably spent darn close to the same amount of money. But I wouldn't, if I was a streamer, I wouldn't do anything less than a
that's what I figured. It's just like a stick computer. I'd like to see the specs on those. I haven't really looked into those. I was impressed by the tiny little boxes you can put in your hand, but those sound very interesting. I don't know what I would use it for. Yeah, I know. I got one. Oh, we're already past our hour, so we got to go.
We are.
Nick H. Yeah, I knew it was going to go fast. How you doing? What's up?
It did.
Chrome Flex OS looks promising to speed up old Q. Yes, I agree. Yes. There's some really things are really going fast and furious. It's going to be a lot of fun. Things are getting really to a point where our speeds are doing. It'd be fine, but you can never get enough speed with editing. So that's where I'm always worried about. And I'm going to build my computer on that. It's absolutely wild with technology and what it can do right now and how small it's getting. And I don't know. And I know people ask like the whole nanotechnology and things are kind of scary and keep you up at night, but just in general, it is pretty impressive stuff. So safe travels. Yep. I'll be here next week. I'll do some short stream next week. Maybe I'll come up with a project and you guys can come on and watch me fail at it. That'd be fun. I'll do something I'll absolutely fail at. I don't know. Come
technical.
on.
That sounds like
it'll be a little technical. I've got some things that I've been sitting on that might be fun, but then I kind of wish you'd be here for it. Huh? But then I'm like,
you won't be here if it's a project.
Oh man, that's
if you need
rude.
me to fill in, let me know. Look see, that's Patrick said if you need him to fill in.
Oh, maybe I'll have Patrick on then. Forget you.
Yeah, there you go.
This thing is going to fly out. You know what? It might be good to have Patrick on. We could maybe if I can put it together, we could talk about some productivity and build a second brain and stuff like that. We can really get the people to fall asleep. Now, if you do it right, it's actually interesting because there's a lot of psychological aspects to this whole thing, and it's fun. It's actually fun if you look at it as fun. It's actually a fun little thing to go down.
It's fun.
It is. You can't take it that seriously. You just got to work through it, man. You know. I will do that, Patrick. Thank you.
Guys
appreciate that.
You guys will be dropping bombs.
We're gonna be dropping some huge. Oh, yes. I hear
knowledge bombs.
I'll even work on my my microphone, get it sounding a little bit even better. Yeah, the Lions, they're quite something. Dan, good fun with that, man. I used to be a Lions fan growing up. When I lived in Michigan, I had all the Lions knit hats and everything. All right, Jen. So you're off. You're heading out. You're gonna go pack. You're heading out of here Friday. You got your phone, which is great that you got it. You'll be able to test it out.
I got my new S22 phone.
I think you're gonna love it.
The camera's really killer,
isn't it?
And I love the size of it. I'm not
I know.
one of those people.
I love when
like big phones.
I'm with you. The S20 went smaller, and everybody's like, "No, get the big Noti." I'm like, "No, I love the size. It's big enough, but it's narrower than the old ones. I think it's the same size as your 22 now.
Mine's tiny. Mine's like the same exact size.
I don't think it. Look at our hands. I don't think mine's bigger. I don't know.
Yours looks bigger, but I don't know.
I don't think so, man. This is weird. We're comparing.
What kind do you have?
I have the 20.
An S20?
It'd be interesting. I'll measure.
The special one? The FE?
No, just a 20. Plain 20.
Oh, it should be the same size then. Yeah.
I will go ahead and measure my phone.
No, it should be the same size.
I think it's the same size.
I love the size of it. It's just like, it's just perfect, man.
Darlene, have a happy Easter.
Killer.
The camera's killer. I actually love this phone. I really do. I've looked at the Pixel, thought about it. It's not bad.
No, this is better. Definitely.
Yeah. TH2's
Pixel's supposed to be bigger.
I like when people like they get
minutes.
They do the countdown. They're all on top of it. Steve, aloha friend, we're leaving because we got things we have to jump into and do.
I'll be running to North Carolina and Georgia.
You are going to Georgia?
Georgia.
Man.
Savannah. Yeah.
So we talked. I have relatives in Asheville, and it's a place that I like a lot.
I'm going to Asheville. Yep. North Carolina.
You're going to Asheville, so maybe I should hook you up with some of my cousins down there. That didn't sound right.
That's weird.
That's weird. Why do you have to make it weird, Jeff?
Hook you up with some of my cousins.
I'm going to hook you up with some of my...
He's going to hook me up with his cousins. Lost track of time.
Well, you got your new phone, so you could send me pictures and send me a text on how everything goes down there. Georgia, you can go to the Chattahoochee River in Georgia and check out where Deliverance was made. I lived in Chattanooga. We used to go down there and look for hillbillies. Easy to find, by the way.
And then we're doing the LaRue Cavern too, because we took my son there in Virginia. That's in Virginia. Now, I took my son there when he was 5, but he doesn't remember everything. So
who's going to remember from 5?
Right. So he needs to go back because he needs to see it in this time frame, and so that would be really great. The most southern thing Jeff has ever said.
I have so many.
I don't know.
I have so many southern things I could say from growing up down there, but I always feel like because people don't think I've lived down there with my accent, that I worry they think I'm making fun of them. So I don't necessarily want to do that, but I love my time down there. But actually, what is this? What is these chords? Those chords are top quality, especially the ones from the 70s, 80s. Oh, you're talking Brian. I'm sorry. I got totally out of that one. Oh, the old phone chords.
The old phone chords.
The old phone chords made great mafia hit strangling units.
Right.
That's those things were so
New Jersey hitman.
You could literally bungee with those chords. They were, remember those? They were like, you'd wrap them around someone's neck, let them pass out. We would do that. Something we do.
We have plenty of phone cords at work. Got to remember, I got a lot of phone systems, so.
That's so funny.
Not as good as the
that conversation went weird back here. All of a sudden, I'm looking up strangling someone with a cell phone cord. That is so hilarious.
The 70s ones, when they catch on fire and burn, it's like poison when you breathe them in.
I remember this. Like, people would rip out the cell phone antennas, and you just stab somebody to death. That would be something like Bond would do in the 80s, and it was so modern. You guys have a sick mind. I love it.
Hey, Dr. Rob. So I want to show you. I'm going to do some serious plosives on here. Plosives. And dude, this Stedman Pro Screen 101, which cost me about $40, $35, $40.
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
And it's really good. These little metal grates push the air down instead of just going through and blocking it. So if I go,
which is great, so it's not coming
peppers.
Yeah,
isn't that incredible?
It is, because the one, like, I would say that your mic technique is really, really, really solid. Your plosives are the only thing that I know that you're concerned. I have sibilance problems, and many other issues, but you probably have more of a plosive problem, especially because you're a little bit more.
Well, especially with a condenser mic. Right, where the RE320 isn't nuts with plosives, and it's got a built-in pop filter. But so there's a little bit you could take away with that. But this condenser mic, the NT1, it's definitely prevalent on the plosives.
It really shines on that mic, man. I mean, it really does.
And this works great. And I like the way it looks. It's so thin, it's like practically see-through. Kind of like.
On a side note, I thought about getting the NT1 because I really love how low the floor noise is on it for a condenser mic.
Yeah. It is a great sounding mic.
Yeah. So I always get, but do I need another one up front? I have the RE320, but I really like the way it sounds, especially on your voice. Because you get two things with that mic, with that being condenser. You got the low end, but there's clarity to it, right? There's no mud. That's the problem. There's clarity and there's
the noise floor is low, and a condenser mic is just a little bit. You pick up a little bit more.
You get dynamic range,
roundedness of someone's voice. Yeah,
because a dynamic mic isn't like it's kind of a pre-compressor, and so that's where you run into sometimes with the dynamic mics is that you have to kind of open it up sometimes, especially like a Shure.
But I mean, that was my thought process: was get a good condenser mic and get a good dynamic mic, and so that's why I'm pretty happy to have. Yeah, both of them actually.
You guys are such asses.
No one's
that's so
turn
funny.
Into a pumpkin. I know. That's why I'm not in a rush to go, but definitely not going to go too much.
I just like sometimes it's just funny because it catches you off guard, and I'm just watching like Cashew or Roxanne or TH, and these comments like let them have their Cinderella moment.
Pressure.
Let them have their Cinderella moment.
They're just trying to pressure us.
We're trying on our crowns. We're fitting our dresses. The mice are all over trying to put our ribbons on. Remember that?
Cashew's putting my. She's putting my YouTube channel up, and
she never ceases to work. She never stops. She's like that energy bunny. Boom, boom, boom. Links, dropping them.
Yeah, she's always positive and just going.
Let them have their Cinderella moment. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's funny.
God. Yeah, that was like the new thing I got was this, and so. This didn't actually come with this little ring that goes around this. I had to. This came from an old thing that I was using on here. The one, if you look at my video, I was using something else in the NT1. I made this fit on here, and it's perfect because I don't want to use like the Stedman comes with a like one of those flexi things that attach to your arm. I don't like that. That looks crappy. So I got rid of it.
If the shoe fits, yeah, we're gonna try on the high heels, and we'll see if it. If it fits.
You know what's the coolest mic?
Yeah. Buy us a coffee for our next bro date. John and I at some point. I got a call today, by the way, to play some gigs in New York. I might be coming your way this summer.
Oh, good. Well,
I got to see if I want to do it. I don't know if I want to go to New York this year.
The coolest mic is whatever mic I'm using. That's the coolest mic. That's what I'm going.
I know. And Sammy, this $3,000 mic, I'm guessing it's like a Neumann. What are you going to use it for, man? You realize you could build a full-on extension to your house for $3,000 and build your own studio, or hire somebody or to do stuff.
No, you got to make people think that whatever you use is cool. Like that's what I want people to go. You're using a $60 mic, and you sound that good. Wow!
I want to dial this.
Me away.
I agree. There's something to that. Like I want to take this $60 overhead drum mic. And I want to dial that in. My next thing, maybe next week, if I got nothing to do, I'm going to take the beta.
How many people?
91A. This is beta. Now, this is made for pianos and drum kicks. But I'm going to make this into a vocal mic. I'm going to try it out and see what it can do and just sit it on the desk and try it out. I'm going to try some
Take care,
things.
Patrick.
Patrick, thanks for sticking in, bro.
Appreciate it.
He's jetting out. Do some things.
Great.
Yeah, that'll be our next thing is 2 cans and a string. Never worked, by the way. We tried that for 20 years when I was a kid. Yeah, you should grab. She's expensive. So you got to give her like a couple highs, She likes, I don't know. We send her like bottle caps. Nah, she's great.
Right.
She doesn't even want anything.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I'm going to, once you calm down a little bit, I'd really like to work on that simple landing page for my website.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do what we talked about, and because that is gonna be so helpful. Because I did what we were talking about. I put a list together, right, of things, and I have to go through all these things and collect the information. But once you have multiple people, you want to save as much time as possible.
Yeah.
So if I have something up on a website and tell people to go there to give me information, then I'm cutting to the chase that much faster and being that much more effective.
While you're gone
for everyone.
I'm gonna because you have a production site I set up for you that we don't want to build on a production. I'll set you up a stage site. That way we can dev it behind the scenes, and when we're ready to go, we'll push it live, and that will always be where you do your sandboxing and testing. So you're never testing on a live site. I hate when people do that cowboy coding stuff. So we'll create a stage site. I'm doing it for me too. I'm going to throw some stuff up there, rough stuff. When you come back, we'll sit down and do it. Cause I need to get my landing page up. I'm excited to get into your stuff. I think there's a lot of fun to be had there, and it is really going to be useful for you. I need to do the same thing. We're going to use pretty much the same tools, some conditional forms, some things like that to kind of, but this is really good for you. I think the process is
on
great.
Top of this, and this is the information that I was given. One of these people that have actually reached out to me, they informed me that they spent hundreds of dollars in a previous live streaming group.
It's true, Roxanne. Go ahead.
Yes, bro. Hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
And they walked away after a weekend, and they felt like they just didn't gain much of anything. They didn't get any insight to a lot of the stuff that they were looking for. And who knows what they were looking for sure, and what they expected out of it. But here's the thing. Don't think that you're just going to go to some guy that's got a channel who has a lot of, just because they have a lot of people,
right?
A lot of subscribers, doesn't mean that they know how to stream, for that matter, or set up a studio.
No.
I mean, anyone can sound pretty good if they spend $1,000 on a mic and $3,000 on a kit. And that's not even true. That's not even totally true. But.
No, that's true. And then what happens though is a lot of times they have dialed in, but they really didn't. They just dialed in those. They don't really have a lot of experience in working with a lot of other tools, especially ones that aren't so forgiving. So a lot of the expensive tools can be forgiving, but even then they come with some user responsibility. But the real experience and knowledge
set it up.
Yeah. The real experience and knowledge is in working with a lot of things that aren't maybe the best, and having to do the workarounds and realizing that I got an A5100 on right now. It's fine.
Right.
You don't need to spend $1,500. I'm happy with it. Okay. And
Jay Cruz, what's going on? So I think it's like,
you're going to be great.
Also about people that Steve. It's about you too. Like, it's about, not everybody can go and put a mic, take a camera down, put a camera up, go change mics 2 minutes beforehand. Or I've changed over mics and audio interfaces in a live stream. It's like, you're looking for trouble in that aspect, but you get the show if it goes good. And if it doesn't, it bombs,
Sometimes you have to, because trouble finds you though too. So you're like, I'll just swap it over.
It happens. Yeah. But I mean, this is all just, part of being able to show people that there's things. You know how many people I spoke to, and they're like, no, I'm telling you, man, you're going to have to spend between $600 and $800 for a camera slider. You know how many people?
Oh, yeah.
So many people are like spending that at least. And
tell everybody how much you spent on this. Tell everybody how much you spent on your slider.
$240.
I may have to go get one. I really want one. And it's not just because I want to be cool John, because I keep buying all the stuff that you have, like your light, and your grid. And
this is going to be one of my next videos coming up.
Yeah.
And then I just want to test it more. I've been testing it for a while.
Jim,
the motor's so quiet. There's so many pluses that this company has done with their cheap stuff. And
what do you think about putting
this work as well?
See, my 5100 with the Sigma off to the side would look fine, right?
Yeah.
It would be fine. I don't have as great as look. I got to get my studio done. I got some work to do when you're gone.
And then I sent you that. Well, you won't be able to change the colors. That's right. You can't change the colors in there because in the A5100 doesn't have picture.
I'm going to have to manually go in there and try to do it by eyesight, I think, to try to find something that looks close. But yeah, Cassie drove up with a white van and said free candy.
TH.
Brian followed her, and still no candy, though. Keep up with the Johns. I'm telling you, man, I will go broke and crazy trying to keep up with the Johns. It's not going to happen, man. Experience matters.
But like I said,
thank you, man. That's
a lot of
lovely.
And it's true, because I don't know too many people that have spent.
It is, Rob.
As many hours as we have streaming this year. I mean, there's people that have. Don't get me wrong, but
not a lot.
It's not just streaming though either. It's streaming to get better, and you'll notice the changes in the levels.
Well, that's the main. We've spent more time online together working through and learning than we actually did the streaming. So I'm up to about 100 hours of streaming. Right. I got to figure out when I'm going to cross over pretty soon on 100, and I'll do it before my year's up. That's a lot of hours streaming, but we did probably twice that and trying to figure things out and working on things. I feel pretty confident that we're we can work around the studio at least a layman's level, and get things done and get people sounding good and looking good. And I think you're going to do really well with that. So yeah, if you're motivated, you know where I am. I'm ready to get on your landing page and get it moving, man. So
well, to be honest with you, and this is why I was talking to you about this the other day, is I didn't expect 4 people to come out of the blue.
I know.
And just
that's when it happens.
Asking me for this stuff.
That's why I keep telling people, start to lay your gravel, because all of a sudden they do come out, and then it's like, oh, I'm trying to scramble to catch up. I think you're in a great spot because you already made notes, you already have a plan, you have an idea, you already have a website, your domain's up, right? We took care of all that. And so now all you're doing is...
we did a lot.
Footwork.
We did a lot.
Yeah. The site is easy. I can put a site other site in a day.
Fast, though. Huh? It's happening faster than average. So it's something that I didn't expect out of the blue, and I moved this past year, so there was so much going on. It was just crazy. Sammy's saying, just a reminder that people that have less subscribers might know more than someone. Right, it's
true,
and that's absolutely you're absolutely
subscribers
right.
are not a direct correlation of knowledge. I'm going to tell you that right now, or talent. No. There's a lot of ways to get subscribers, and some through talent, some through knowledge, but a lot of it's not often. Sadly.
This is the factor that comes down to me is what we talk about all the time, which is I need to be a better YouTuber. I have to make better videos. I need to get some of those videos getting 20,000 views, not 10,000, not 5,000.
Right.
And, and when I'm able to start doing more of that kind of stuff, then I'll be able to pick up more subscribers, and that will, I mean, the fact of the matter is people, they look at it every day and make judgments on how many subscribers you have.
It's a styling.
But the other thing is you have to be able to answer the hard questions, and not everybody can do that. So.
No, and once you start getting off script with somebody and they start going down things, people start to panic because they're like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about that. Like you're fine talking about all that.
I was trying to tell one of these people that they're actually paying for advice, and so you can't just go and give people 3-4 choices. What I have to do is, this is your price range. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 choices, and there's going to be 2 different laptops, one at 17 inches or so, and one at the 15, and that's it. And you think I'm going to give them choices on the hardware? No, because they don't know anything about it. I'm going to try to give them the best bang for their dollar overall. And that entails knowing a lot about all those different laptops, because here's a simple little thing that Tommy knew, right? Tommy was watching earlier, and you can have a 3060, but do you have a full 3060 that gets 130 watts, or do you have one that gets 90 watts? And now you have a boogered down 360 that's not capable of what a 360 should give you. I'm talking about a video card.
Yeah, so it's true. Like people get taken on that constantly, man. It's a constant problem. All the time.
Or the other thing is there is certain laptops out there, like similar to how the M1 is doing things, where they have memory soldered into the motherboard. Okay, and they're not 2 separate SODIMMs.
They're not true separate items. They're integrated.
No. So I personally want to make sure that what I'm trying to get somebody, if I can, is going to have that ability to upgrade even further. But I'm also not going to leave them short on 8 gigs of memory.
The bottom line is,
sure they're getting.
We talked about this. Whether you're a consultant for this or you're doing web designs, you always have to come with more than one answer. And I don't think people understand that. You do an audit, you find out what the user requirements are, the project requirements are, which is a thing in itself. And then when you come back, you generally like to give them a few options depending on the budget, right? It depends on needs. And so it's not like it's an easy thing, and you got to research. There's a lot of work involved here if you're really going to be a consultant, because you have to really consider them so much more than what you're doing. You have to really think about their needs long term, and not many people do. They're like, oh yeah, the best thing you need now is this, or you don't need to spend money on that. They're not thinking about the future, or they're overspending where it won't matter in the future, and that's just terrible advice. Yeah, just because someone works for the plumbing company as customers doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Yes. I think he's taking a shot. Is he taking a shot at himself?
It's also it's all that, Jeff. Yeah, it's like it's so easy to give the information that you think is better for somebody, but not necessarily. So it's like people will say, "Oh, get an M1 Mac; it's the best bang for the buck." You know how many people that I know that gotten the cheapest M1s, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I have to buy these dongles. I have to get a Caltech thing to have all these connections to add," and then. For it to use, like, there's always workarounds, and maybe they're cheaper, but it's a little frustrating. But in the end, they ended up spending, a couple $100 more that they didn't know they were going to spend, and no one told them. And so I don't want to give anybody a surprise like that.
Here's the other thing. So when you're doing a consultation, like a doctor or anything, and I run into this, what happens is you can run into a scenario when you're consulting where it's not just about the package. You go, shit, this package probably works better, but we might need to tailor, because maybe you got to decide, well, we got to put more money into this for you, and we need less money. Yeah. You got to start picking out where in that budget. So that's why consultants get paid, right? Because they can see past all of these things that people can't see, that knowledge, because they're not doing it every day, to understand how to pull the levers and raise and lower for the best equation for them. And that's where Aaron, I think
what was he looking for in the laptop? Remember what he was looking for? The one thing he was looking for.
The Thunderbolt one.
Right. That's what he really cared about.
Yeah.
Was the Thunderbolt. And so after doing the research, that it comes to the matter is that the Intel motherboards that are out there are the ones that really are including the Thunderbolt 4 in general. So then it's about you're going to have to get an Intel chip with that motherboard. And, if it's like a Legion 5 Lenovo, it's going to be the one with the Intel setup and that comes with a Thunderbolt versus the AMD does not. It's just a USB-C.
Yeah, it gets tight when you start looking for a Thunderbolt requirement. And Steve.
It's not anymore. It's the 2022. There's more choices. That's
now there is. Yes, it was a little tight for a while. Steve, last year, I get a lot of calls. This is the thing, Steve. He gets a lot of calls from people who have other plumbers out, and they screw things up. I'm backlogged on web people. I'm shocked at how bad web designers and developers are. Like I'm triaging so many people's e-commerce sites, and it's hard, but people are terrible at their job. And I think everybody thinks they can pull up a Wix, thinks they're a web designer and a web developer.
I just heard somebody talking about that last weekend. You should try Wix. Now, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, my wife used it, but it's not necessarily what I would suggest nowadays, but it is better than a lot of things.
In Square, I mean, the Squarespace, there are pros and cons.
Squarespace is really popular.
It is, and there's some people that I think are built for that, and their projects built for that. And if they've come to me, I'm like, I think you should go to Square, because you're looking at a couple page site that you could tell the tech threshold. That's great for you. But for the most part, the reason I don't like it, the reason the WordPress effort to me is better, is you own it. And you could take it with you. And the way you can expand on that in so many directions without having to rebuild and run into these issues is really massive. Yes, there's some slight more.
I don't even know what you're talking about. And that's why this is your profession. You know what I mean? Right. This is your baby. And this is where you can explain to people why certain aspects of that are worthwhile.
Oh, I can speak completely inside out on the pros and cons of web design and hosting and who to host and where you should get your domains.
That's why I'm trusting you.
I'm going to screw you so bad. I am going to take you and just wring you out. By the way, did you see that Shopify is getting into the creator game?
Oh, really?
So Shopify is a huge e-commerce, obviously, but they're involved now with Dovetail. But they want to get heavy into their TikTok already. They want to get into the actual TikTok, YouTube. They want to get in and start monetizing all of our stuff. They have a pretty nice, Shopify already has a pretty nice like e-commerce site and things you can do with t-shirts and all that stuff already kind of integrated. So I think it just happened. I think it's really exciting. So keep your friends close. yeah. I'm going to like totally Russian bomb his site one night when he goes to sleep. I'm like, I'm just going to go in there, tear it down and put some stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be a crazy, the rest of this year is going to be exciting. And
yeah,
then I think,
it's growth.
And next year is going to be.
This is a transition year, really. I see it and I feel it. And I know that I think we're both seeing some light finally after coming out of, we thought we were going to be a little bit different than we were coming out of the year. But you know what? Sometimes that works out okay.
A lot's changed in our thoughts and processes. And
see you later,
a little
Jim.
bit is
nice
from
you,
picking up what people were saying, but a lot of it was looking at it from I just had a point of view and I knew what I wanted to achieve. And then when I looked at what I was seeing, I got the right answers from some of the smarter people, and it was really reinforcing exactly what I was thinking.
It's one of those deals where we talk about the more you do, the more you learn, and then you start then you start getting on this wavelength with people that now are actually more in your sphere, and the answers seem to be a little bit more intelligent and purposeful. And I'm finding that going through the sessions with stuff, I didn't know I was going to go down this path when the year started. And here I am, but I'm glad I am. I am addressing some really negative, some liabilities of my process, really, which is internal. And I'm excited for that. For some people, it's not that. For some people, it's how to set up a camera. We all have our own thing. Yeah, keep your friends close, man. I'm just telling you right now. The bromance is real. I'm make him a nice website, but what's gonna be funny is like every 3 times you visit a site, I'm gonna just have my photo come up and just slide through the homepage and just kind of wave. I'm gonna have all sorts of fun. I'm gonna just gonna have a good time with it. I don't care. Oh my goodness. Funny. Yeah. So you're gonna go on a trip. I'm so happy. I think you're gonna go on a good time. I'm trying to think. In Asheville. When did the cherry blossom stuff come out? Isn't it? It's about this time of year.
It's got to be like right about now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a beautiful time, beautiful weather.
They're almost out in my area. So
are they? Yeah, it's about that time. Yeah, and there's cherries. I got to go north here and get tons of cherries, and it's like, it's a beautiful time to go see the blossoms and crap. Do my business. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. I think you should go on this trip. Do what you're gonna do. Be present. Have a good time.
Yeah.
And when you get back.
That's it.
This next week for me, once I get past the next week, I'm going to be calmed down, which is great. And I'm going to start thinking about my website and your website. And it'll be ready to go, man. I'll have things going. And I'm excited for that. I think people would like to see that. And I think we talked about it. I think we both have a lot we could offer people. We've wanted to put things out there to reach out to give people for free on value. And we just haven't been able to do it because we didn't have that web presence. We can do anything. I can do anything with your website, my website. I think we can give out a lot of value to people, our good friends. Maybe we can create a special stream bud area for people.
I think it's, sometimes people see in you what you're capable of earlier than you feel you can do. And I knew what I was capable of, but I maybe wasn't ready to jump that. And then when you have multiple people asking you though, basically asking you to do it. And then when I came back, what I wanted to give them, which I'm giving them a great deal. They're getting a great deal from me. But the fact of the matter is, it's because I'm going to need their help to push my word further. And they're willing to do that with me. And then from there, I'm telling you, Jeff, wait till I'm going to come back here and I'm going to talk about these topics, but I'm going into the Facebook groups of local towns and counties, and I'm going to express about helping people with setting up streaming and tell them how to break it down from
and that's
something
why,
simple as a phone.
And that's why it's so important. It's why it's so important to have at that point a landing page to capture that, have really well thought out forms. And forms are so important because they can really help you get information from them when they can type on, don't have to worry about calling you up, and you can get a lot of information before you even talk to them and dial in. You can figure out what kind of match that's going to be. It just facilitates things getting going. I'm a big fan of that. I love doing that stuff. I think it's just a lot of fun and I like doing it. So I haven't done a lot of that for myself. And I mentioned to you, I'm going to go with Drum Up Studio as my my brand. And so I'm kind of set moving on that and going to get some logos done. And yeah, it's just fun. This summer's going to be the summer of websites for us, I think.
I'm down in North Carolina. I'll make sure I hook up your cousins. So
yeah, if you could, they would love that. They would love that. Actually, they'd probably have you come up. They would probably make you dinner. They're just beautiful people. They are my mom's sister's children, and they're great people, and I miss them dearly.
Make them a YouTube channel. We'll put a YouTube channel together. Jeff's cousin will be the name of it.
He would love that. He's a big Packer fan, so you know. You probably would do a whole thing. We gotta
get out of here.
Yeah, we gotta go.
I gotta eat dinner.
I got to as well. I told my wife, hey, it's gonna be an hour. I said, hour firm. She's like,
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna hear it probably too because I said I was gonna be an hour.
But I already miss you, man. It's gonna be by the time we do our next stream, it's gonna feel like it's been a year.
2 months.
It's gonna feel like 2 months. We may shed tears when we finally see each other again on stream.
Bye, Steve. Right, I know. I'm not going to shed tears, but maybe you.
You are going to totally shed tears. Shed tears.
Shed shears.
I can do it. Aloha to Steve. Aloha to everybody. Thank you guys. We put this together like last night real quick just to say hi. And it's a weird time, but
thanks, Dr. Rob.
Whatever, man. Dr. Rob, I'm glad you stepped in. TH2, you're awesome, man. TH2. I may have to give you a wrench.
556. How you doing, man?
Yeah. GH, so great to see you. It's been a minute. Amateo, thank you for dropping in. You always drop in some love and some great information.
Nice,
of course, I can't forget Patrick, and he's amazing. And maybe I'll have him on next week if I can pull this whole thing off. Patrick, Jim Boswell, good to see you.
Why not talk about it?
Dan.
It's a good thing because
Tommy.
You and him are on the same wavelength with some of that stuff.
It might be good. I mean, maybe because I don't have to prepare. We could just come on and start. I mean, he's such a Notion guy. He's really into keyboards.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just kill an hour really easy, hour and a half, just talking stuff. You know what I mean? And having a good time. And and then maybe you can find a way to get in a chat and make our lives miserable for like 10 minutes, like I tried the other night when I was
I'm not going to do that.
I wasn't going to either, but I was a little bored, and so I'm like, I got to get on. And
I'm going to be sipping my $9 latte.
Absolutely,
you do it, Carolina.
I love it, John. Man, seriously, you're the best, brother. I'm so glad to see you, and I'm so glad you're going to have a good time. And good, safe travels to you and your family. We'll see you on the other side, and all that jazz. Guys. Yeah, and now I have your phone, so I can bother you anytime I want.
Yeah, you got my. My new number.
Bother you on your trip.
All right, Dr. Rob.
All right, my friend.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
John,
we'll talk soon.
Go have a good time, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks.
Do your thing, man.
I'm going to be doing a lot of driving, so I'm going to be listening to your drum music most of the time.
Are you? You should make the kid drive. I should have sent you some CDs. You could have listened to me play some music for you.
I got tape cassettes. I don't know.
Okay. Turn on ABBA. Sounds the same.
I love, it's really exciting is my son really looks forward to switching to the B side of the tape. He likes that.
Does he? Your son?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Changing it, flipping it over.
He's old enough to drive at 2 a.m., so you can let him drive a little bit.
I was thinking about it. Gotta get this kid driving. He's only 11-ish, but why not?
Yeah, let him drive. Man, just don't worry about it, man.
Right. I'm gonna drive myself upstairs and eat dinner.
I should have made you a mixtape, so you remember me.
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna make me.
It would have been all. It would have been all Air Supply. I would have made you Barry Manilow.
Mixtape.
Air Supply.
My 90s mixtape. My 80s mixtape.
I'll make you an 80s mixtape very early. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
That'd have been good.